Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build Live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing? I hope you are well. As long as you keep it as a terrier, I'm quite happy for it to be 751. That will make up for it, Sophia. Yes. How are we all doing? Hydration is important. Welcome back to South Park Quarry, everyone. Where today we're going to start some landscaping. It's going to be super interesting watching some paper mache go down and some paint. So yeah, could only be 751. Excellent. Which livery though? So the kettle is heating up water as we watch. Excellent. I approve of the kettle heating up water. So yeah, so I say we will be using some free local advertising paper and some home-based tester pot this evening. Grey, of course. Excellent. It does look good in grey. Mr. TS Design has it in grey and it's fantastic. And good evening, Alexander. I am very well, thank you. I hope you are too. So yeah, my plan for what we're doing right now, we're going to put some paint on this section as an undercoat for some blended turf. Very reasonably priced at my local model shop, which is of course Train Times in Eastbourne, who do not sponsor this stream. I just like advertising them. I mean, they also pay my wages, but that's not sponsoring the stream, so it's fine. And we're going to build up some ground here with paper mache so that our trees in the background have a little bit of elevation. And we might even build up some ground here. Something is tugging on my camera cable really tight. Let's see if I can. There we go. That's better. Just a little bit here, just to break up the flatness. Because, you know, we don't want it too flat. Getting the shill in nice and early. Exactly! Got to get that shill in nice and early. It's not my fault that I have good priced things. Bought an Engage layout at the shop yesterday. That was an interesting one. Well, we have a very small shop, and we bought an 8-foot long Engage layout, but yeah, it did not fit anywhere. Just uploaded some photos to Discord in prototype discussion. Let me know what you think when you get a chance to have a peek. I will be having a peek after the stream finishes, and I will certainly let you know. Because I always like to catch up on Discord after the stream. Should buy a magnifying glass too. Fortunately, I don't have to operate it, I just have to sell it. Interestingly, it's a massive 8-foot long layout. It's a bit Spartan when it comes to track, and it only came with one loco. So it is, of course, all wired up for DCC and includes a Gauge Master Prodigy controller, and the loco is chipped. It makes total sense. But there we go. So yes, green from a tester pot. Home base Chinese evergreen. Why did I choose this colour? Because it's the colour my living room walls are, and this is the tester pot I got to make sure I liked it. And it's green. And I want a green undercoat. That is it. No other reason. So this is going to go on here and hopefully dry out pretty quickly whilst we do some paper mache. And as long as it is done and dry, we'll put some glue over it and sprinkle some blended turf on. It's almost like I've made a plan here. Almost. I can neither confirm nor deny the existence of a plan. Before you worry too much about the colour I'm using as an undercoat here, once it's dried, it is nothing like what you can see. Plan? Who are you? What have you done with Gary? You are correct. It is not very like me to have a plan, is it? I mean, this is going to be where it all goes horribly wrong and I stick my arm in it or something. But, you know. As Lenny says, hydration is important. Yeah, it'll be a big paint spill if we spill this one. Mail layouts are in pre-group session on web and post a sketch of the intended trackpad. You did! I saw it and I was very impressed by it. It's going to be a great fun layout. So, yeah. Paint. Gary Bot seems a bit slow today. Oh, I mean, I only woke Gary Bot up like 10 minutes ago. Give it a chance. So this is going to give us less bare wood, which is what we like on a layout. The best type of bare wood is less bare wood. So the idea is that none of this will actually be seen. The blended turf will completely cover it. But it will mean that if there's anywhere it does get seen, then it won't be bare wood being shown. Now I am painting over the edge of the ballast here where the ballast has come out too far and my brush is a bit thick. Honestly, that doesn't bother me. I'm not sticking to that's where the edge of the ballast has to be. I didn't lay it with a definitive edge. I laid it with it stuck where it fell. Keep paint pot and hydration vessel well separated. I'll do my best. Enjoyed some wine guns after visiting the Harrow factory yesterday. Oh, very nice. Totally not jealous of that at all. No, not at all in any way whatsoever. So there we go. We have some area to cover in blended turf in a bit. And you'll all be glad to know I took every precaution with the paint there and definitely didn't leave it hanging half over the edge of the baseboard where I might knock it over and spill it, because that would just be silly. Especially with my reputation. Now let's clean the paintbrush, shall we? But there we go, our first bit of land that is not bare wood. Wahey. And at least 2 people here can confirm that the final colour is nothing like that once it's dried, because they've seen my living room and the fact it is nothing like that colour. I mean, it's nothing like what I want the layout to look either, but it's better than wood. So yeah, this corner here, right at the back, needs to be built up so that we have some taller trees. To be honest, is the reason I'm doing it. So that sits there. It's not very high, is it? Especially once you stick the shed building in front of it. So I'd like them to appear somewhere closer to up here. At least that's the plan. Yes, you can all be shocked that I thought about something now. I give you permission. Good evening, Thomas Lewis. How are you? I hope you are well. So apparently the local free advertising rag has staples through the middle I need to remove before I can use it. And good evening again, Stepney Tanker. How are you? I like to point out this is the first edition of this free advertising paper. It really is just all adverts. It said when I've opened the centre page to remove the staples on this free paper that I only picked up so that I could rip it up for paper mache, is that, which I thought was a rather nice picture to have sat in the middle of it. Very good, thank you. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, doing what I love, sitting here modelling. Having caramel bars. It was my birthday yesterday. Well, Merry Birthmas. Enjoy your Karamak bar. I had a Turkish delight earlier, since we're all comparing sweets. We're now going to screw up that page with the quarry hunt slit, I think, on it, and stick it there. So there will forever be a quarry hunt slit on the layout. I'm technically in the layout. It's going to need a bit more screwing up than that. No sweets, but did have a nice bit of lemon drizzle cake earlier. Ooh, very nice. Love me some lemon drizzle cake. You're making me hungry. Then eat, Linny. I mean, don't eat Linny, but eat something, Linny. Eat, comma, Linny. Yeah. Cake and custard for breakfast because there was no one around to stop me. Excellent. I approve of cake and custard for breakfast. So if I put my tree on there now, it's a much better level. Right up the top. I want to eat Linny. Currently wearing my P-Way Gangers hat, not my Shunters hat. I don't even have a railway hat, never mind different ones. God. I think I had custard. Some custard in the cupboard. I can have custard. Have custard, Linny. Have custard. Don't let anyone tell you you can't. Just have a box of pistachios so you miss it through the stream. See, I have nothing to eat during the stream. Don't have any cake though. Might have fish fingers. Fish fingers and custard. It's an interesting combination, that. But you are in Scotland, so what do we expect? I suppose deep fried fish fingers and custard. It's a Hoovian reference. No, don't try and get out of it that easy. You people north of the border and your weird foods. Fish finger sandwiches are good tier, not with custard though. Yeah, fish finger sandwiches are good. Not going to disagree there. Look at that. It's paper in a pile. What I should have done was bring some tape in here with me. I usually stick it down. And I don't have any suitable tape, I don't think. Because, you know, that thing I said about planning earlier. I mean, I could use this. I don't really want to waste it, but it'll help. Hear me out here though. Fish finger and chip sandwiches. Yes, excellent. I'm with you on that. But again, being Scotland, Linny, I have to ask, are you deep frying that or not? Chips and gravy / curry sauce, yay or nay? Very much yay. Well, see, that brings that bit in a bit better to how I wanted it. That bit, not so much, but can't win them all, right? Where's what you cook the chips? I meant after you'd cooked everything. Are you deep frying the entire sandwich? No, I'm not bashing and frying the sandwich, no. Oh, you're not doing Scotland properly. Making it with fried bread, sure, or eggy bread. Fair enough, I'll let you off. Hopefully you can get doner kebab, chips and salad wrapped up in a soft flatbread. You know what? I think I can get that here as well these days. I oven bake mine, but then I'm lacking in the chewing department. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I oven bake my chips too because they're nicer. They're nicer. Okay, they're not nicer, but they're healthier. They're nicer for my waistline. Sometimes have double cooked chips on a Saturday. Sounds good. No idea how you double cook them, but they're very crunchy. I cook them, finish cooking them, cook them again, I guess. Love eggy bread. I've had that. I'll get that. I will get on the next. Oh, I'm good at words today, aren't I? I put way too big a bit of paper in there. Probably should have done half the thickness of strip in my glue. This is just PVA with lots and lots of water. Away again? Guy, you're never home, are you? Disgraceful. Uckfield's not till next year. Oh, French toast is also good. So yeah, as I say, it's just PVA glue, lots of water, and torn up shreds of paper. I'm sure you all remember that from school, don't you? And if you didn't do it at primary school, did you even go to primary school? Let's be honest. Same old time, same old channel. Yeah, you're right. I actually did hear it in my head, Christopher. Head. This is what I get for half responding and half reading what you put in. Rise facility to the hillside embankment on my diorama. Look, get on with it then. Don't want to hear any excuses. Get it done. The problem with French toast is that when you have your first piece, you have to restrain yourself from having more, and before you know it, you've gone through an entire loaf of bread. What makes that worse is when you can also then just bake some more bread immediately afterwards. and go through another loaf of bread. And another and another and another. You get what I'm saying? See, now I've got the one here that was way too big. So I'm trying to cut it whilst it's also covered in glue. But this paper is clearly not as good at paper mache as other free newspapers. It seems to be rather thick paper and not as bendy as I'd like. So the problem you guys won't talk or people go outside need them. Some of us have to go outside occasionally, Christopher. We try and avoid it as much as we can, but sometimes we just have to. I knew it was going to be interesting paper mache in this bit because of reaching over the camera and it being reasonably far away from me anyway. This paper being thicker and less floppy than I was hoping for has made it even more interesting. So I hope you all enjoy that. So be sure to buy a big curtain first type arrangement. You just have a retaining wall. That is what I'm thinking, yes. Either a retaining wall or it's cut into a rock face. Those are my thoughts. All feedback, as always, gratefully received. The shiny newspaper or the regular stuff? Well, it looks like regular stuff, but it seems to be a thicker paper than say the Friday ad was or the tabloids are. Which is irritating. Because it's not moulded into shape quite as well as I wanted. That is a quarry, so I'd say a rock face myself. Well, hey for feedback, thank you. I want something that droops down when I do that, not that can hold itself up like it is here. Because if it's holding itself up, it's clearly way too strong. And it's not holding, the stuff in the back isn't compressing as well as I'd like. It wants to be unrolled. Copy of Metro stashed away for this very purpose. Well, the Metro might be better, but it's been a long time since I've been on a train to nick a copy of the Metro. It's not good for much else. It's certainly no good for reading. Not that I can say this is much better. When I picked this up, I made a joke with the kids that it would be completely full of advertisements and there'd basically be nothing else in it. And, you know, just to prove I was right, there is an advert in here that is 3 pages long. Just the one advert. Always grab some Evening Standards up at Victoria Station I'm passing through. I've never done scenery with them before though, so I procrastinate too much. Well, it's always a good time to get on with it. That's what I say. Yes, there's a large deer across the tracks today, right by the station. Didn't seem bothered by the trains or people. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they weren't. I had a deer in the road coming back from club the other day in my big 3.5 ton van, and it just stood there. I had to come to a complete stop to avoid hitting it, and it just stood there looking at me like, oh, hi. I've got my Metro on the bus. I've not been on one of them for a long time either. I don't think I've ever seen a Metro on the bus though. Just hopefully starting this week on scenery. Just hope it's starting this week on scenery this week after a 9-month outbreak. Just trying to decide on ballast colour. Aha. Well. That is always an important question. Where is the layout set? Because of course where it's set, where and when for that matter, will determine where the ballast will have come from. The deer was the only thing not scared of is driving. Nothing wrong with my driving. I don't know what you're implying. Had a deer jump out in front of me, and one front end smashed, one deer dead, me a bit shaken up. Yes, I've never hit one myself, but all the drivers at my firm have. Yeah, it's never a fun experience. Oh, I'm out of paper in there again. Currently, it's set on the West Coast Main Line about 7 years ago, so very modern. I'd assume you want some grey ballast then. Being that modern, it's probably granite. Is it granite I'm thinking of? I think it is. Got to say, mate, that flip roll over those cars at the lights last time. That flick roll over those cars at the lights last time was a bit hairy. Well, I'm good at these things. Lots of practice. Less grey is what you want. See, sometimes I know things. Sometimes. Hydration is important. So many of them, there is a cull twice a year. I don't think they cull them round here, but there is, I believe, legal hunting of them at times. But not like to set numbers. Or well organised, for that matter. Distant future, the year 2000. Thanks for help. Would you recommend Woodland Scenics Ballast? Yes, Woodland Scenics Ballast is fantastic. I keep a nice stock of Woodland Scenics in my shop. Because I do find it works really, really well. As does Gauge Master, if you're that way, if you don't want to use Woodland Scenics. I keep a stock of that as well. What do you mean I'm a shill? I'm not a shill. There we go. That's what we wanted to do there. Leaving by the Trent Valley Park, the West Coast Mainland, found this and pass a pick or two on if helpful. Oh, very kind of you, Christopher. 7 years ago, it's very helpful for me. When was Virgin Train still around, which I'm trying to model in their heyday? Oh, you're spending a lot of money on carriages then, aren't you? They're not cheap. Still need to go to the beach at Canberra for my ballast. Yes, yes you do. Gary Bot is clearly the shit. Yeah, Gary Bot's the shit one. Gary Bot 3.0. I realise it's been a while since we've pointed it out, but I am Gary Bot 2.0. Because on the internet, no one knows you're a chatbot. I'd like to get a few trains from the period before that. For 687's nights of Mark 3 rakes and DVTs. These modern sounding things. Virgin coaches are far cheaper than SCR bird cages, mind you. Oh, I've got enough of those, though. For now. Especially with my shorty rake. There we go. But bird cages are far prettier. Bird cages are indeed far, far prettier. Boo, turns out I don't have any custard. Boo, that sucks. I also don't have any custard. Per coach maybe, but for a rake. I mean, honestly, I don't know what the Virgin ones are going for exactly right now. I just know they got really expensive. But the bird cages at RRP are 90 quid a coach now. So for a free coach rake, they're pretty expensive still. I'd like to maybe get a set or two. That period of early privatisation is what I call the apocalyptic era, where everything was falling apart after the fall of British Rail. You're assuming it wasn't falling apart before British Rail went? Boo indeed, boo for no custard. Yeah, well, we all boo for no custard. We scream for ice cream and we boo for no custard. That's how it works, isn't it? About 40 quid last time. Yeah, it's still quite expensive, really, isn't it? Luckily, we don't have the problem of people wanting them around here. Unfortunately, they don't want all the maroon carriages I've got in stock either. LMS or BR. And I've got a lot of them. There we go, look, we've got some scenery. It's a very natural looking hillside. I see nothing unnatural about it. Anyone that does is a liar. I mean, once it's covered in stuff, it won't be too bad. There it is. I lost the lid to my pot of glue, which would have been bad because I would spill it or put my arm in it or some other such thing. It doesn't need to be natural looking, it's a cutting. True. Very true. So our paint has dried out. That's very good. I've always been put off thinking you had to use chicken wire. Never thought that scrunched up newspaper would do the trick. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Who needs to buy stuff when you can just roll up bits of newspaper? Hydration is important. Right, going to fetch a bucket of hot chocolate, BRB. I approve, you know, with the hydration and all that. So now I need to, there's where I put my scissors. I'm going to cut this bag open. So say, this has dried. We were cunningly distracted from watching paint drying. Exactly, it's good, isn't it? I've cut the corner off the bag of turf now. So now I need to move all these bottles out of the way of my pot of neat PVA, which I definitely didn't have out earlier and then put all these bottles in front of because I'm a professional or anything. Right, neat PVA. Same brush as earlier because, you know, once you've washed your brush, you can use it again. Clever, that, isn't it? Paint the PVA on. Elbow the microphone, which I hope didn't hurt anyone's ears. Been a long time since I've done that. Good evening, Red. How are you? I hope you are well. Now I'm going to wash the brush again. First thing that happens as I arrive, something gets knocked over. Gary in a nutshell. Nothing's been knocked over. I have knocked nothing over. You might have heard me moving my big glass pot and placing it on my big glass workbench. Yeah, thanks for your vote of confidence. And now we're going to do a bit of that. And absolutely cover everywhere the glue is and then some. It doesn't matter because I've got a special vacuum for cleaning the layout, so I just pour it everywhere. Let the glue deal with it and the vacuum. Still neater than Simon Fowler in the show the other day. Fine, thanks, Gary. How are you getting on? I'm getting on very well. We painted this. We put some glue on it. We've chucked some turf down on it. We've built an embankment. But yeah, for once that has had some time to dry, I have the wonderful layout vacuum from Woodland Scenics that lets me, in theory, just hoover up the bits I want, like that. How long would you suggest leave a flock of static grass to avoid bald patches? In this case, I'm going to leave it till at least tomorrow, because I can. But yeah, I mean, it depends on the glue you're using. I would say leave it until the glue's dry. That would be my advice. Now, where did I put the pot to empty this into? There it is. Here's an old car vacuum. Yeah, we had this one at the shop and it was quite cheap. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to take it home and try it out. And, you know, definitely not forget there's a button there as I'm trying to open it up. Because it just pulls apart and you can drop everything out of it. It's got various different sized filters on it depending on the job you're doing. This isn't a review and I'm not sponsored, but it is a really useful little tool. And I can't remember how much it costs. Yeah, there we go. Got a bag of different sized filters depending on what you're hoovering up. For double O, the nozzle fits just between the rails really nicely. I'm not quite sure why it has a light on it. I've not seen a use for it yet. But so where I've got this bit between the rails here, I can just run it along like that. And again on the rear track. Can't tell me that doesn't work well. Fair enough, talked to some of my friends at Great Eastern Models about it a couple of weeks ago. They said pretty good. It really is. So you can see from that how easily that's just picked all that up. And out of the slip. There we go. Now there's none in the track work. So yeah, as a tool that I bought just to see if it was any good, I'm really pleased with it. Now we're going to put that bag where it's not going to get knocked over. So look at that, we're starting to have some landscape and greenery appearing on the layout. Isn't it good? If there's a folded over bit there that I don't really want, I'll put another bit on to hold it down in the morning. In fact, look, I can put another bit down to hold it down now, can't I? It'll be dry tomorrow, and once it's dry, I will paint it and cover it in turf in much the same way I have with that section in the middle of the track. There we go. Now there's no sticky up bit that I didn't want there. There is another couple of bits here though. Now there isn't. I have, however, misplaced my duster that I've been drying my hands on. So that was clever of me. I've done a really good job matching grass on the layout to the back scene. Well, thank you. Yes, it is quite close. The stuff on the layout is slightly darker, and it will at some point be getting static grass over the top. But yeah, I'm happy with how close it is to the back scene. And that is just Woodland Scenics blended turf mix. Green blend T49 for those that are interested. Goes very well with Gagemaster back scenes apparently. So yeah, next job, we've got a little bit here that I also wanted to raise up, but only very slightly. Just to help the back scene blend in a little bit. And stop the layout being completely flat. Same as you use. Excellent. See, we all use the same things to make completely different things. And for those that thought I was exaggerating earlier, there's the first page of the advert for the estate agents. There's the second and third page of the advert for the estate agents. It might be a free paper, but that's kind of ridiculous when you've got a 3-page long advert. I match it with WWS static grass in summer green. Excellent. I have heard that WWS might be retiring though, which would be a shame. I cannot remember who I heard that from. It's not an official thing that I've heard through work. It would indeed be a shame. I do have some bits of WWS's stuff in the shop, actually. I've always been a fan of it. Even that's too big. If that's the case, I'll likely switch to Woodland Sea next. I'd be very surprised if there isn't a if someone doesn't purchase the range. For example, lost me tape now. The owner of Train Tech decided to retire. It is Train Tech, isn't it, that make the electric, like the signal lights and all the fancy electrics and stuff. And, I mean, a lot of their stuff, Gagemaster have always repackaged as their own. And so Gagemaster have bought them. So, despite them leaving the market, their stuff will continue on. And my Gagemaster account manager at the shop will now be running them instead of being my account manager. It's very rude of him to get promoted like that. I have a couple of the repackaged Gagemaster releases on their buffer lights in Kelsby Yard. Oh, they're excellent, aren't they? They're obviously they're no good for me. They're way too modern looking. But I did have them on my old layout, and the boy has them on his. They're fantastic. I love them. Have you? I have got you over on the telly now. Excellent. I've made it onto the telly again. I'm famous. Yay! Hashtag better modelling than Simon Kohler. Sorry, what? Who said that? On a serious note, did anyone see that second episode of the Hornby show and the state of his modelling on there? Haven't seen the first yet. So I'm going to be honest, the show isn't great. It's an interesting insight into Hornby, but it's not great. The second one, though, just to see what the boss man at Hornby is doing with modelling and showing off on TV as he's putting down static grass on this layout he is building. There's a man walking across a road or something, and he has static grass going up his legs, above his waist, and completely covering the bucket he is holding. Now, if you're an amateur just starting out in railway modelling, there's nothing wrong with doing it like that. You've never done it before, then, you know, you're bound to make these mistakes and learn from them. I'm sure you can make these mistakes several times over and learn from them eventually. If you're the man that runs Hornby, on the other hand, and you're on national telly to show off the behind the scenes of your company and you do it, it's a completely different matter. I was on telly once, Noel Edmonds' Late Late Breakfast Show in 1984. Ah, that was before me. So yeah. No, it's used that high profile, exactly. And don't worry, after we see this person, it cuts across to a shot of a telephone box that's next to a shop on the pavement, next to a road, also completely covered in static grass. And these are close-up shots, so it's really showing it off. And it's like, how could you sign off on that being the public image of your company? I got interviewed on local BBC News a few years ago. I don't think I've ever been on telly. There's a chance I have, but I don't think I have. Not that any of you would recognise me if I did, because, you know, I stay behind the camera. That's my favourite place to be. But I've certainly been involved with things that have been on the telly. But I don't think I've ever appeared in front of the camera. Thought I saw you on telly, Gary. Police camera action, crime watch. Definitely not. No, I'm a good boy. Hydration is important. But yeah, I would definitely recommend watching episode 2 of whatever the Hornby show is called, just so you can enjoy Simon Kohler's modelling. Hardest police chases. Chases implies they could catch me. I was on BFBS once as well, sending a message home from Iraq in 2004. Aha! That's a bit more modern. That's not before me. My older brother was on Ross Kemp in Afghanistan. For those that know my name, or know more about me, I should say, will know why my brother got picked to be on that when he was out there. Giving it away now, really, haven't I? And if you don't know my name, then, you know, where have you been? Got kicked off BBC school reporting thing as I was taking what they were talking about seriously. I mean, it is the BBC. How are you supposed to take them seriously? And whilst we've been laughing at that, I have finished the little bulge there, just to say, remove the flatness from the layout. I remember watching the Late Late Breakfast Show when I was younger. I don't remember much of what I used to watch when I was younger. Probably because it was all terrible. That's my theory anyway. So look at that, it's 10 past 10. We've got an embankment, some grass, and a mound, I guess. Almost like we know what we're doing here. We don't. Stop! Please stop spreading lies that we know what we're doing. I am going to refill the hydration vessel. Because hydration is important. Some poor bloke was killed in one of their live stunts. Ouch! I'd remember that if I watched that. That's a not nice thing. So yeah, landscaping. That's what we came here to do. That's what we've done. What else we need to do actually is make sure that things can get past that. So if I turn the layout on, I can flick those points over. And look at that, it goes past quite nicely. I'm not sure what I caught there, if I just derailed because I was putting too much pressure on, because this is my sprung chassis. Oh no, it has caught here. There we go. This is why testing is important. Not as important as hydration, but still important. The late breakfast show got cancelled after they dressed someone out from the audience to do a bungee jump and forgot to connect the bungee. Wow. That's certainly a mistake you don't want to be making. That's better. And the other one barely passes buffer beam level at any point. So there we go. Landscaping is indeed important. As I say, once we start putting the trees up there, they're nice and high on the back seam now. You'll certainly see them above the engine shed. Which is what I was going for. I wish this showed up on camera quite as well as it does in person. It's looking really nicely distressed. I'm really happy with it, and I don't think it looks as good on camera. Which is a shame. So, we're an hour and 10 minutes in, and we've done everything I planned on doing. Aren't we good? Shall we do a shunt or two whilst I think of something else? You like the colours though? The blue really stands out. Yes, that it does. It's got more weathering to get yet, so the blue won't stand out quite as much. But yes, it does stand out. Yes, says Christopher. Well, hey. Where's my shunters pole? There's my shunters pole. We need that if we're gonna do some shunting. And of course, being back with my stock means that we have pictures back on the screen. All done. Clock off early then. Nah. You gonna do a wooden floor? I am going to do a wooden floor for the shed. But when I do, I want to do a live stream for the shed and to show off the kits I got for the shed interior at the show that are currently sat on Oak Hill because planning. Remember it live on Saturday evening television? It's yeah. Doing a shunt allows us to test this point motor that I changed the other day and haven't tested yet because I literally only cut it down earlier today. Did that after breakfast and have done basically nothing since. No, don't hook onto yourself. Never mind the mess that is this one. And a loco. Which is, and of course my controller's wrapped around the blooming camera cable. Why wouldn't it be? That point set properly. Yes. Let's test that it goes through that point. Does in that direction. Doesn't seem to like starting today. It's attempting it enough to make me think that's not the point motor. But I'm also not entirely convinced. A diesel indeed. I like my little Ruston. Ruston's adorable. Reminds how much I want from the killer. Have you maybe dribbled glue on the rails? Oh, most definitely. I need to sort that. But there's a good chance the wheels are also a bit dirty. These are great, these wheel cleaners. Didn't normally make a Ruston very similar to IG. That's one of the new Rustons, the 88. This is the 48, which is the older model they've done. But you are quite correct. Nice shiny wheels. Had a track rubber around here earlier. Somewhere. There it is. Oh, I hate when the frogs get dirty like that. They're awkward to get into. That's better. Right, the rest of that can stay in. Where's the wheel cleaner from? It's Gauge Master. Doesn't have a Gauge Master badge on it anymore. But yeah, it's a Gauge Master product. Two conductive strips on the bottom that connect to the rails and wire brushes all the way along the top. They do them in 00 and N and they are absolutely fantastic. So, time for me to get a shunting order out. I've got a Stevenson Clark wagon. An SECR Loco Coal wagon. An SECR van. The Model Shops wagon. And finally, the RC Bareford Coal Merchant wagon. So, let's get the new and improved wagon cards out. Not select all of them, that's not what we want. So we've got the Stevenson Clark wagon. The SECR Loco Coal wagon. The SECR van. The Shops wagon. And the RC Bareford wagon. Now I just need to move the ones that are still invisible so that I can dump these ones back at the top. There we go. What do you think of my new and improved wagon icons? Proper transparent icons. Very smart. Thank you, Red. Yes. My new green screen got put to good use. Hydration is important. Would anyone like to volunteer to do the shunt? If not, I'm quite happy to do it. The purple, indeed, Sophia, the purple screen. Right, I see no volunteers forthcoming. So I shall bring that over there. Move some of this rubbish out my way. And begin. So we are going to start by bringing the Ruston onto our wagons at the front. Go if you want. Oh, well, you can then. I will leave these here where they are and let you take over from there. Because I do enjoy the interaction on this. That's what these trying to go works. Using the Garrett for all the time seems excessive. I would say the Ruston makes a better work shunter than a Garrett. You mean that one, Christopher, at the end? That is indeed one of the ones you did for me. And they are fantastic, and I still love them very much. Take them out, leave the RC barefoot inside in two. See, that's what I was going to do. Don't forget to change the points when you're doing these manoeuvres. It does help. And put them back at the front. Excellent plan. Yes, flipping out, that's better than I recall. I'm very glad to hear that you do so. Yeah, they are incredible. I could never hope to do anything as well as you managed that. Yeah, the next thing I need to do for our interactive shunting is get my, now that I've got my decent wagon card pictures, is to get them plugged into Paderborn's shunting puzzle generator and have that display in the corner. Take the three from the back, drop off the model shop van. Take the three from the back and drop off the model shop van at the front. I can read, honest. But yes, Garrett's more for hauling track maintenance, trains, breakdown cranes, and other such fuels, rust and whatever they end up really can't do. Oh, but it's got a whole 48 horsepower. There's loads. Pick up the RC Barefoot wagon, pick up the RC Barefoot wagon and drop it off at the back. And the bot wants to remind us, again, that hydration is important. And of course the bot is correct. Then collect the model shop van and drop both vans off at the back. See, nice simple one this, isn't it? Even if the Ruston decides it's going to move way too fast off the line. Definitely wasn't the controller that caused that. And once that's done, move the LBSCR wagon from the front to the middle. Let's quickly couple these up before I push them in. And not knock them off. Did not flick that coupling quite how I wanted to. Never mind. Let's stop it to grab the coupling. There we go. Got the local wagon front, drop both wagons off at the back, and we are done. We are indeed. So you're too good at this, paddleboard. See, it's clearly not the switch. Had practice. You have indeed. So I will be using your little Excel program you made at some point so that can auto generate the things for this for me. And if I'm really clever, I'll have the section of its screen to display the pictures up in the corner. But that will depend on just how clever I can be. It was only virtually on an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, it's fine. Practice is practice, even if it's not real. Units of Think England's have got a what on at the moment, Christopher? Might be having very short wheelbase. It runs fine. This is the first time this point motor has been used. I had to change the point motor because I broke the last one. Monk. Ah. See, me failing at English again. And there we are, as we say, one completed shunting puzzle. And very nicely done. I'm going from Australia, I hope you're all... Oh, well. Well, hello there. Welcome. I am very well, thanks. How are you? We have just been playing with the layout, having done a bit of landscaping on it. Adding some built up land and the first bit of greenery. We had a bit of a shunt, and can we focus again, please, camera? On anything at all. There we go. So it is, in UK time anyway, just gone 10:30, which is traditionally the time I will ask you all what you are up to whilst watching. Because I do like to hear about your projects, even if you're not doing them right now. Please do let me know. Words can be tricky sometimes. That they can, Paderborn. That they can, especially if you're me. Hydration is important. I think my story that I told the kids the other day shows how tricky words can be for me sometimes. When I was being asked about why I decided to learn Anglo-Saxon, I said, well, when I was taking my English GCSE for the third time, you don't need to hear any more of that story to understand words can be tricky for me, do you? We're doing alternate on layout also. Been still working on layout or two for Robot off eBay a while back. Still not totally sure what to do with it. Make it run. Passenger trains. 240 sounds passenger trainy to me. Small trains, like only like a couple of bogie coaches, not much. Still working away on that single slip. How's it going? Have you got the all the chairs in the right place now and not one sleeper too far over? Did not sound fun. Yeah, see, it drives in there fine now. Bit of dirty track just there, I'm guessing. Track power chart starts on having a midlife crisis / moment of liberation by shaving my hair off. Yeah, that definitely sounds midlife crisis-y. Rather than moment. I mean, I can also see the moment of liberation in it. But, like, hair, especially this time of year when it's all cold, you want hair. Now, my hair's like a nice woolly hat this time of year. I've just used a little Wicket Railway project inspiration for getting CMRI and JMRI to work together, show a train hitting sensors and being displayed on a mimic panel. Excellent. That sounds fun. Very fun indeed. I am going to put together another show because I can. I'm going to pull out my 5 cards from the Sortify up at 8,000. Much better than whatever I called it last week because we're up to 8,000 now. Shame you don't have Oak Hill Railway hats in merch. You're saying that. I wouldn't be convinced I don't. It's been a while since I looked, but I'm pretty sure at some point there were hats. Go have a look. Building from Cinema parts. Rails will have to be cut and filed by hand. Sounds fun. Well, eventually it's probably going to end up on the rotor for slow locals. Fair enough. Something, but also looking at a medieval illumination my mum has done on a course today. Ah, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Well, we've got one wagon here that wasn't in the last run. So we start with the barefoot wagon, followed by the SECR van, and then the quarry wagon, and then the Stevenson Clark, and then the SECR Loco Coal. And then, as before, I grab the other ones, move them out of the way, and shift the whole lot up to the top. And is there anyone that would like to have a go at this one? Please note, no is a valid answer. No hats in merch. Right, I'll have to see if I can do something about that. General consensus on RM Web was my track plan was very workable, so no excuses for not getting on with it. Yeah, I thought that was the answer. I'll have to see if Teespring do hats and add them to the merch store. Middle of dismantling the layout, moving house, but I've been building structures for my new layout. I approve of building things for new layouts. Always a shame when you have to dismantle a layout. But hopefully you can build something bigger and better once you have moved. So one of the good things about this layout is I'll never have to dismantle it to move. because it's not very big. And it's stored in a box. I should really have not quite buffered the logo up that much, but I managed it. Never have this man's mind to move either, because we ain't moving, we own the house. I mean, I own the house, but I don't plan on living here forever. I also don't ever plan on selling this house. But I certainly don't plan on living here forever. They weren't coupled up. Good evening, Thomas. How are you? I hope you are well. I am very well, thank you. We have done some landscaping on the layout this evening, and we're letting it all dry a bit and doing some shunting. In fact, I'm doing some shunting for a change. That's not what you're meant to do, Mr. Loco Cold Wagon. If I controlled that a bit better, you came back on the rails properly. But that was silly. I was also looking at scale couplings. Good on you, Sophia. Do it. You know you want to. I very much approve of looking at scale couplings. Yeah, I'm going to put you two together now. I'm not sure I actually want you together now, but you're going together now. And I want this uncoupled from here. Pretty good tactile, but overall right. Got a new terrier yesterday. Well, hey, I approve of a new terrier. Everyone should have a terrier. Or 10. Or 15 in my case. I recommend Smith's couplings. They are what I use for everything. The hook is quite a fair bit over scale, but only in as much as it makes them easier to use. This bit of track clearly didn't get cleaned earlier. What you could do, Sophia, before you make the plunge into scale couplings, is jump on that bus over to Hicktown and come and play with this and make sure you actually like them. There we go, clean that bit of track. Let's find out. Apparently, was much important for me, 50 quid, and considering it is one of the later X-Apples all-in ones in. I'm rather happy. That's not a terrible price. It's more than I've paid for any of mine, but it's not a terrible price. It does sound like a plan. I think it's a good plan. Much better to know you like something before committing money to it. Well, I mean, block of ice style packaging. Fair enough. So scale couplings aren't for everyone, but they do look the best. And I hope I give the impression they're not as difficult as some people fear. Right. Now I need to think about what I'm doing next. Telling off whoever put the brakes on that wagon first, obviously, because you shouldn't roll that far when you uncouple it. I know what I'm doing next. I'm going to leave both of those wagons there. And then I'm going to head in, pick up this one. This coupling feels sticky for some reason. And with that one, I will head back into this siding and pick up these two. I can then take the Stevenson Clark wagon that I want in my line next, and put it on this siding. Which allows me to bring these two back out the way. And put them back where they were. But no longer blocking the wagon I want next. I need to be getting shut. I need to be up for work in the morning. Take care of yourselves. See most of you on Discord tomorrow. Okay. Good night, Red. Sleep well. Don't work too hard. And see you on the Discord tomorrow. So now I can come in here and pick up these two out my way. I can bring them to grab the Stevenson Clark and put it over the back there. And then we have our first two wagons in the rear siding, which, as I've said before, is the hard part done with. Once you've got those first two in the back, you're on easy mode. I love this when I'm backing away from a train. I don't need to look at it, and I can look over at my preview and see it disappearing off screen. It looks great. Almost looks like it's being operated by someone competent. Almost. Okay, it really likes running away, this wagon, doesn't it? And I've got my hook at the wrong angle now. There we go. See, now I can come back to the front. Almost assume the competence was by a professional streamer person. You should never assume I'm a professional. Drop that one off there. And then I can head back into the middle siding, pick up the two there, and get the next wagon I need in the line. And if face it, Thomas, I literally play with model railways for a living. How can I possibly be considered a professional anything? More pro than others I've seen. Well, I like to try and give the impression that I know what I'm doing. So I'm glad that works at least. There we go, and now these two can go and sit in that middle siding with them because they're no longer wanted. Then we're going to come to the front, pick up these two, and we can drop this one in the middle siding, and then pick up this and get our wagons in order. Camera is really in the wrong place for that coupling, which is very much what I'm blaming knocking that off on. That, and we've passed into the final hour of the live stream. We're going to couple that up because I do like to keep wagons coupled inside it, as it makes them much easier when you need to pull out something from the back. So we'll take this back out and then bring it in and pick up this one and complete our shunt. That's all sorts of tangled up, that one. Now I'm going to have to uncouple it to untangle it so it can wait. And there we are. I'll admit, even I think I shunted that up quite nicely there. One more completed shunt. And remember everyone, hydration is still important. That's no longer tangled up, that's the word. I really want to hoover that patch. Does all his own shunts, you know. That's what Linny's t-shirt said last week. Really want to hoover that up and see what it's like, but I don't think the glue's set enough. But I still want to do it anyway. I mean, it's not like I can't fix it if it does pull it all up, because I can just do it again. The ones I'd put on against the back seam for this to hold it in place have slipped forwards as well, so that's not held on the back seam anymore, which is a bit of a pain, but I'm sure I can fix it. We're going to wake up everyone that's not paying attention. There we go, it did it just fine. The noise reduction mostly cuts out the vacuum. That's really cool. Thank you, Streamlabs, for doing something properly. I'm really happy that that does that. If it does that, it might do the same for the compressor for the airbrush when we get round to doing that. That'll be good. I'll be shouting so you can hear me, and you'll be saying, "Will be there like, why are you shouting?" There's no background noise. But yeah, there we are. A patch of greenery. I mean, the glue's definitely not dry yet. But we have a patch of greenery in the middle of the layout. And the board join is about here, so that has been hidden now. So now this bit at the front is the only bit of the board join you can see. I'm very happy with that. So I do need to put a couple more bits on here because it has annoyingly come away from the wall. But there's not much we can do about that other than add a little bit more and hope it doesn't do it again. Because of course the problem is if it all comes away and there's a big hole there when I come to scenic in it, I don't think the turf's going to hold up very well. It will just fall down. So I want to get it held to the back seat in a couple of places at least, so it's not going to fall forwards like it has done. And then for the rest of it, I will run a strip coming up to the back seat. At least that's the plan. Again, we're assuming my plans were actually workable things. Even that's a bit much on the back seam there. Well, compared to what I'd like. I'd like as little as possible actually on the back seam as it's going to be harder to blend it. But as long as it holds it in place, that's what matters. We shall see. So in theory, by next weekend, I will have painted and turfed the bits that we have paper mache'd this weekend. Because you don't really need to see that all again, do you? I'm sure you can remember how to paint and pour turf on something. The theory is sound, yes. That doesn't mean the practice is. But yeah, so I say I'll have done that next week. I'd actually been thinking of taking a break from the layout next week and doing something else. I mean, we might carry on with the layout. I've got plenty to do on it, and I've got plenty of stuff in to do it with. Just discovered a purple hair on my O class. Can't imagine where that is. It's always nice to watch scenery being done though, but it's up to you. I mean, it's not that we won't do it all. Might be called mix it up a bit. Yeah, that's what I think. We've been working on the layout. It seems like quite a while we've been working on the layout exclusively now. And, you know, I've got loco kits and wagon kits and carriage kits and all sorts. So it might just be nice to have a weekend off from the layout and do something else. Because the great thing about having loads of projects is you can procrastinate from one by doing another. Must admit, we've not had a loco kit in a while. Yes, we have. The last project before the layout was a loco kit. Birdcage, I'm seeing now there's a good idea. I've got 3 etched brass bird cages to build. Or, yeah, 2 bird cages and a composite for the middle. And we don't really want to sit through me doing 3 carriage kits in a row, do we? Because if we take a break from the layout next week and start on one of those kits, then we can come back to the layout afterwards and maybe do a loco kit. Break them up a bit so they're not all done at the same time. It's still been a while, but yeah, bird cages sound good. It's been a lot longer since we've had anything else. Of course, the first one I pick up is the composite. But yeah, you see, I've got an extra brass 46-foot birdcage brake. Which is an old Mallard Models kit. Lots of fun in there. Some nice etched Southeastern and Chatham bogies. Yeah, basically, Thomas, the reason you've not heard of them is because they're not available anymore. They are no longer a thing. Well, in fact, they weren't even by the time this kit was made. Because this was a Mallard Models kit manufactured by Blacksmith after Blacksmith took them over. And they don't exist anymore either, as far as I'm aware. You see, after a while, they got rid of the Mallard Models logo at all, or altogether. This be, I assume they kept the Mallard ones as long as they had them in stock. And this one is 15 years of blacksmith models in 99. So Mallard were gone from 84, I guess. So yeah, lots of history in those. And if we're discussing Mallard models, it'd be rude not to bring it out, wouldn't it? The big Mallard. That's got to be built one day. Yes. Oh. It's quite the beast, isn't it? There's a 4mm one for scale. Hang on. There you go. Their noses now line up. We have another Let's Build candidate now. Yes, indeed. It lives under the workbench for eventual finishing. In fact, I say eventual finishing. This is before I started soldering stuff. This kit is glued together. So what it actually wants is completely stripping down and starting again. That's what it really wants. I don't say that lightly, as I do have here the finished chassis for it and everything. But it's glued together, so occasionally bits fall off. Look, there's the tender chassis as well, which is still huge. But yeah, I feel it needs to come out every time someone mentions Mallard, doesn't it? Well, every time I mention Mallard, at least. Oh, and I'm pretty sure, just to make things worse, when I say it's glued, that it is in fact Poundland super glue that it is glued with. So yeah, I could finish it like that and make it all look pretty, but it would probably fall apart if I ever tried to run it. And now that I have O-gauge track, it would be nice to be able to run it. If you do decide to rebuild it on stream, you can do it in LBS or Southern Liveries just to annoy the purists. No, it is going to be Mallard as preserved. Oh, and I do have double O-gauge correct region loco kits to build as well. In the form of a DJH C2. Garter blue? Of course, garter blue. The best colour for any A4, is it not? Okay, except Silverlink. Silverlink should be silver. And Silver Fox, and all the other ones with silver in the name. Art in full Wayne, right? No. I actually do have everything for Mallard. I have all the transfers, I have etched plates, including the etched plates for its record run. You know, on this date, this loco achieved this speed. I've got some O-scale coal. Apparently a thing. Some nice Slater's wheels. 2 sets, actually. Yes, I did like the apple green ones. You know what? You're not wrong there, Christopher. We had some apple green ones in the shop, or an apple green one in the shop in Double O not long ago. And it really was gorgeous. So, yeah. I still prefer blue, though. But yeah, they do look good in green. Hydration, still important. Hydration, I mean original fire. You mean apple green, which is what we were just saying. Yeah, they did wear it. Some of them did, and they looked good in apple green. See, that is what I'm not sure about. What to next collect up some BR Southern Region bits or do my LNER collection at last? Both. I say this as a man who has, on a shelf at work, 3 A4s and 2 Flying Scotsmans. I sold one of the Flying Scotsmans. In fact, I've got loads of LNER bits in the shop, so you know. What I'm saying is do LNER and buy it from me. Exclamation mark, shill. Just have an A4 on the till. I do have an A4 on the till, you're right. I have my Hornby 003 rail A4 on the till. And good evening, Killian. How are you? I hope you are well. You join us having built an embankment, put down some grass, built a slight bump, and done some shunting. And then discussed other projects. Golden Eagle, Golden Plover, I believe. At least I think that's Dwight D. Eisenhower when it had its original name. Golden Eagle is the one I think we had in apple green. We certainly had one called Golden Eagle in the shop, and I don't think we do anymore. I know I've got Sir Nigel Gresley. But I've got Seagull as well. Silly name. Silly bird. I don't have a mallard anymore in the shop because someone bought that as well. Well, we had at one point 5 A4s. And I put them all out together like it was the Great Gathering. Hoping someone would eventually buy them all together. They didn't. So we've got half an hour left. We have discussed projects and the fact we're probably going to build a coach kit next week and have a break from this layout. So let's have another shunt before we do that. Do we have any volunteers that would like to instruct a shunt? Whilst I operate the Shufflevator 8000. Which has very nicely produced me the correct number of cards. Next time we play this with this, they might be actual cards, now that I've got the decent pictures done. So we're starting with the shop wagon. Currently in talks to have some more of those made. And then the RC Barefoot wagon. Followed by Stevenson Clark. And the Southern Quarries wagon. And the SECR Loco Coal. Now I just need to move all the unused cards down out my way. It's fancy, indeed fancy new graphics, aren't they good? I made myself the world's greatest green screen so that I could take them. Because I thought, well, I can't actually have a green screen because I might want to take photos of green things with it. Can't use blue because I might want to take pictures of things that are blue. And so I went through all the colours I could, and I eventually came up with the purple screen, which I assure you is a lot more purple in reality than it looks on the screen. It's a much deeper purple in reality. But that is now my wagon taking green screen. Oh, and whilst I'm up here, since the green screen is sat on top of it, for those that haven't seen, because you're not on my Discord, well, we were left in a conundrum at the shop yesterday and we had to relocate some stuff, including this. This required relocating, so we decided it could be relocated to my workshop. And I must say I'm rather happy with it here. I've yet to find where it's going to live, but, you know, it's nice to have a big LBSC crest here. I've wanted that for years and years and years. In fact, I've wanted it as long as the shops had it. Timber or cast iron? It is timber. I wouldn't be able to lift it like that if it was cast iron. Send it to Sheffield Park. Say, no, Sheffield Park have an original one in the museum. It's about 4 times the size of my one. Right. Any volunteers, or am I doing it again? This is an easy one. We've already got one of the right wagons in the back. More the merrier. No. I don't think it is the more the merrier. I think the best place for it is here at Oak Hill Works. It will go nicely with the Oak Hill Works running inboard I'm having commissioned. Because, you know, that's not going to be small and it's going to be made by someone who really does know what they're doing. So far, yeah, in 3 hours, 1 and 5 should hopefully be ready. Much help from Tom and Adam. Well, hey, that is fantastic news. Even if it will be 2.5 hours, well, let's be. By the time I actually go to bed and get to sleep, it'll be closer to an hour after I go to bed, but that's not the point. Trade it in for an SCR sign at Sheffield Park? No. No, I'll stick with the correct company, Sophia. Alright. Looks like no volunteers. I shall bring in the Ruston. So we've already got that one at the back over there. And these two are already coupled how I want. Look at that. This is a really easy one. Obviously, they do clearly better rifle, but you can also see it looking rather good at London Victoria area. It'll look even better at Oak Hill. It's correct for the territory I'm in. Look, it's not my fault you're in the wrong territory. I had one, beautiful one, but a friend effectively stole it, put enough away, they did steal it. How very nice of them. What a wonderful friend. Don't hook yourself round there because you're all sticky. Let's pull you out to where I can get to that coupling a bit easier. I know, wasn't it? Can't imagine why I have nothing to do with them anymore. So no, neither can I. Annoyingly, I can't remember what the title was or the author's name. Well, that really sucks. The Definitive Guide on A4s by N. Gresley. Be a bit too easy, that, wouldn't it? Certainly be able to trust the source, wouldn't you? although they might be a little bit biased. Corbs's latest creation is Corbs's latest creation is fantastic, isn't it? Has anyone used a medium for loco info before? I've not tried using a medium for anything, to be honest. And even my clothing, I'd never get into a medium. Wonderful, as are all of his. True. They'd be artist once, certainly would like one. Speeches for railway research, are you feeling alright? And never mind a medium, I'm pretty sure this t-shirt I'm wearing is a double XL. It's a clairvoyant who made a prediction that the loco would be involved in an accident. They quoted the loco number. Oh yeah, I remember that story. Held a large quantity of coal smoke today. Who knows? The renumbered loco, but the renumbered loco was still involved in an accident. Yeah, I remember that story. It's a bit weird, isn't it? The only clothing you own is Batman t-shirt. We established this last week. I will have you know, I am wearing an Atari t-shirt today. I only wear Batman t-shirts on days you come to the shop. Which is a bit weird since I never know what days you come into the shop. And technically the prediction was wrong. I mean, technically. Or it was saying that you can't beat the yeah. I know what I'm trying to say. You do too. Words fail me as always. 47216 was renumbered to 47299. Yeah, I confirm I've seen our glorious host in other t-shirts not that related. I mean, the days I wear the Batman t-shirt will soon become a lot more planned. Because I shall be making many more visits to the comic shop in Eastbourne. And it only feels right to wear a Batman t-shirt if I'm in the comic shop. I deliberately didn't tell you I was coming to the shop the last time, and you still wore it. I know, right? It's great. Until you mentioning it the other day, I hadn't even noticed it was a thing. But yeah, upon discovering that there is a local comic shop, I decided I needed to stop buying comics on the internet and support the local comic shop. Four 216, apparently a Ginty. I believe you'll find a 47 rather than a Ginty. In the case of this accident. It's looking at proper logos. Yeah, I know. I try to avoid looking at all these modern weird things. I prefer Ginty. I prefer the Ginty as well. Completed the shunt whilst you weren't looking. Proper Midland Johnson built one too. Well, obviously. Always got to be a proper one. None of these newfangled modern LNS ones. Hydration is important. As is stopping the logo before it falls off the end of the track. None of that Fowler business. No, exactly. Boo that Fowler business. Or if we're getting technical, Killian. Never mind Ginties, we want 2441 classes. Much better. I prefer to... No, I don't. Oh, proclaiming your love for the LBSC there, Sophia, I see. Of course. It's funny, Diesel Gala, 24,000 New Hampton logo, North, so the 14 had to rescue it. And when it got to Bewdley, but then overheated halfway down the platform. Oh, never trust a diesel. Building one of those for the Midland project. If I could get a hold of one, I'd love to. Was it K's did one? But yeah, I'd absolutely love to build one of those for the Midland project if I could. Especially now we have a railway-based sponsor who are just going to take the whole lot off me at the end of it, as well as all the donations we raise, rather than me having to sell it all. Always love my Ginties. Cannot change my mind. I mean, we were just discussing how good they are. I have 2 or 3 Ginties around. Pretty sure I don't have 4. I've got 2 or 3. I had to put a hose on it to cool it and then did the same again. Including carriage. Well, the kiddie carriage has a whole lot had to be rescued class 17. Right, a class 17. Oh dear. That's the one that Elgin did a really bad job at, isn't it? Being told this by I don't like Steam Diesel fan whom I then looked at and said, these diesels won't catch on, I don't think. Nah, you're right. Steam all the way. Diesel will never catch on. So we have just 10 minutes left, everyone. Very prototypical, the first batch of the Helgen class 17s. 17 is one with the cab in the centre. That's what I believe, yes, Killian. That's what I'm thinking. Hornby or back ones, answer carefully, otherwise a certain car hit runner will burst your door down and scream at you about bearings. Well, if you must know, I've got at least one from each manufacturer. Does that help, Thomas? It is, yes. And usually 17s that needed rescuing. Yeah. They also stopped in a cloud of smoke after a while. It's a shame because Helgen diesels are normally so good. I mean, maybe they were just being prototypical with it. It's always possible, isn't it? Right. That's one of them horrible centre cab jobs, isn't it? So I believe so. That's what I'm picturing in my head when people say class 17. Shall I get one for this? Is that what you're all telling me? Someone at the door this time of night? I hope you've ordered pizza or something. This convo taking place right by Tor Valley, who was simmering away nicely, being warmed through for the week service. He didn't like the idea that they should have just used that instead. I mean, if it's there, why not? Tell you what, I was gutted we couldn't get closer to Clan Line at the Bluebell on Monday. But it looked good even from a distance. Arguably the least successful diesel locomotive ever used on British Railways. Wikipedia on the class 17. Carpet running, tried to scream me, I just can't shut the door on him. No, I just shut the door on him and walks off. Ah! Excellent. Best thing to do with him. Not seen Tor Valley in years. First engine I ever had a cab ride in. I've not seen Tor Valley in at least as many years as it's existed. Certainly as many years as I've existed. Looked beautiful. I must thank you for helping. Well, there you go. So well for all the lovely pics. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a fantastic day at Sheffield Park. I'm glad they helped your work day go well. I do like going there and taking lots of pictures of what I see. I like this not working Mondays thing that I do now. It's great. Send the kids to school and then do whatever I want. Which usually means playing games on the laptop, but shh, don't tell them that. Beautiful picture of the O1 made my day better too. Oh, it's fantastic loco, isn't it? So I was really happy to see the schools class, Cheltenham. Because, of course, the only schools class I've seen before is Stone. And I don't think I've ever seen it with its boiler on. Shall I pass your kind words on to my fellow porters, Gary? You can if you want. I had a fantastic day. Everyone there was great, and I always love going along. So, yes, feel free to pass them on. Had a great day there, snapping pictures of things. And of course, getting in Stepney's cab was pretty cool. Genuinely my first time ever in the cab of a terrier. So that was pretty cool. I was quite happy. Show you Miss Tall Valley on Sheds to Keith Bartlett. That does sound pretty good actually, Christopher. Not gonna lie. Never to get around to put my pics up. Boo! Put your pictures up. Mine all went on Twitter and stayed there. Saw Lord Phil running yesterday at Butterley. Who's Lord Phil? No, really. Who? 3095 hauling trains throughout the week. That is the O1, I believe. Ah, excellent. The more time the O1 is hauling trains, the better. So Cheltenham was on photo charter duties when we were up there, but the O1 and its Birdcage, LSWR, and the Mets behind it looked fantastic. General for austerity. Aha! Excellent. I like austerities, even if other people don't. What is going on? MRC. Do you know, I've heard it is all falling apart and they will be running a pacer on the Santas. Find it hard. A pacer on the Santas? Say it ain't so. Good evening, Tom's Modelling Corner. You join us just as we're finishing up and having a bit of a chat because actually finish in 5 minutes. Still, we've had a good stream. We got some greenery down. We got an embankment made and what I'm referring to as a little bump, because that's about all it is. May need an O1 on Charles Sutton. I mean, I can definitely recommend an O1, but don't forget you could also have an O which are just so fantastically antiquated. They are wonderful, especially in southeastern livery rather than southeastern Chatham. Yes, the Mets and the SCR loco can't be beaten. Defo, my fave Bluebell combination. They can be beaten once they've got a full rake of bird cages to run behind them in SECR livery, obviously. Oh, never mind. Yeah, you can watch it all back if you want. Pacer is from Naughty Children. We filmed a new O-Gauge episode today. Excellent. Well, we had some O-Gauge out earlier. You know, since you've mentioned O-Gauge, I mean, it's right next to me, isn't it? My big O-Gauge. Not as easy to get rid of that leg as I thought. That's it. GNR Director Soon H class is absolutely gorgeous. I imagine it is. Don't forget that it's not attached to the body. I should kill power to the track. There you go, Tom. There's my big bit of O-Gauge. I'll have to finish it at some point. It's really labour intensive to film. Yeah, I can see that. I have to go, folks. Great show, Gary. I'll subscribe to you. Good, folks. All the best. Stay safe. Thank you for coming. Great to have you here. So we are finishing in like 2 minutes anyway, so you're not missing much. Stay safe, etc. I always think O165 missed a trick by not calling it narrow gauge. Oh dear, Thomas. Oh dear. Fantastic. A4, only one of the Hatton's A4s. This was more expensive than one of the Hatton's A4s. But of course, when I got it, God, we're looking what? 6 or 7 years ago now, I think. There was no hope of an O gauge A4 becoming a ready to run model ever. It cost me 1,100 quid. Worth it though, totally worth it. Put the number. No, definitely Garter Blue. I would like to get some of the teak carriages they're doing for it, but I can't really justify the cost of those for how little running it'll actually see. But yeah, it would be nice. But I doubt it'll ever happen. Oh, that does it. I'm finishing this shunt with my J11. Well, hey, 1,100 quid, serviceable 5-inch gauge loco. Yeah, but I don't want a 5-inch gauge loco. I want a 7¼ inch loco. Now, 3D print this thing must be cheaper to print one out in resin. Yeah, it'll also weigh a lot less. This loco body weighs more than this layout. So I've no doubt it'll be a good hauler when it's finally finished. Do need space, I'll probably find it just to film my episodes. Yeah, exactly. So we've got a layout of club that is big enough that it could run on. It couldn't pull much, but it could run on it. So there's always that possibility for its future. Oh, and a circular track around the Christmas tree. How many R1 bodies could I get for 1,100 quid? A lot. What? How? Because it's a big lump of white metal and this is MDF. And not very big. Right. Anyway, it is now 2 minutes past midnight. I have had a great time this evening getting started on some real scenics for the layout. Although at the same time, I'm looking forward to the idea of taking a break from the layout next week. I'm not going to lie. Be nice to do something different, so we will do one of the etched birdcage coaches, I think, is what we will do next week. We can probably build one of those and get some paint on it in 2 or 3 sessions, so why not? Let's do that. And then we'll come back to this and get it looking fantastic. Chunky duck, indeed it is. Have a good week. Great as always, Joe. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Killian. Yes, so thank you everyone for coming. I've had a fantastic time. I hope you have too. All that's left for me to say is good night. I have been Gary. This has been Let's Build. You have been awesome as always. Good night.